Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Liang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. The Los Angeles City Council voted to ban homeless encampments near schools and daycares, but it came with a loud opposition. We'll see who had to be removed from the meeting. And a Southern California city dropped an ordinance that made it a pro-life sanctuary. We'll hear from two of the council members about it. The city of Los Angeles has banned homeless encampments from being a certain distance from schools and daycares. The city council's vote came after much public protest, to the point of having to pause the meeting.
No, sergeants.
That was the scene that led to a 1-hour recess during the Los Angeles City Council meeting on Tuesday morning. Police filled the meeting room shortly after. The council then voted to ban all homeless encampments within 500 feet of schools and daycare centers. The ordinance passed in an 11-3 vote. The ordinance is an amendment to the city's sweeping law regulating the location of homeless encampments, Municipal Code 4118. Additional bans include people not being able to camp near fire hydrants, usable entrances, or driveways. The ordinance was met with loud opposition before the vote was taken. A previous vote on the ordinance 1 week earlier met with similar opposition. Council President Nuri Martinez said that the actions of the opponents of the ordinance amounted to trying to stop the council from taking a vote.
A councilman in Southern California proposed to make his city a pro-life sanctuary. After public criticism, it was removed.
A San Clemente council member proposed a resolution to declare the city a sanctuary for life. But on Saturday, the city voted 3-1 in a special meeting against the resolution, removing it from their next meeting.
The overwhelming sentiment of our community, as we've seen in emails and other messages, is opposing this measure. And, symbolically, our residents, the far majority, do not want their rights taken away, particularly women's rights to choose what to do with their own bodies.
According to the resolution proposed by Councilman Steve Knobloch, the council would consider life beginning at conception, and the resolution would protect the unborn.
Even though this is a state issue, the local governments ought to be able to weigh in as political subdivisions of the state to let our opinions be known. And I thought that it was appropriate to declare the city of San Clemente a sanctuary for life city, because there's so many people that believe in the dignity of life, the importance of life, God, it's a God-given gift to mankind, not something to be toyed with or destroyed needlessly or based on a whim.
The resolution sided with the U.S. Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. According to Knobloch, if the resolution passed, the city would pass an ordinance to become an abortion-free zone. But now that the resolution has been declined, Knobloch says he is focusing on opposing Proposition 1, or the Right to Reproductive Freedom Amendment, on the state's ballot. It would allow abortion without restriction, which means abortion up to 9 months. Knobloch says he isn't condemning the people who had an abortion, but to point out that the practice is wrong.
A Southern California dermatologist was arrested for allegedly poisoning her husband. He set up surveillance video to support his suspicion and sent it to the police.
Yue Yu, a Mission Viejo dermatologist, was arrested August 4th on suspicion of poisoning her husband. According to Irvine Police Lieutenant Bill Bingham, the victim had been feeling ill over the past month and suspected he was being poisoned by his wife. The victim submitted the video evidence to the police. Providence Mission Hospital, where Yu practices, said they are cooperating fully with the Irvine Police Department, and we want to reassure our community that there has been no impact on our patients. Yu was being held on $30,000 bail.
In a unanimous decision, one of the largest counties in California will be letting voters to decide if it will remain as part of the state. The county board will be adding a measure to the November 2022 ballot that would give voters the option to secede from the state.
San Bernardino County in Southern California borders both Nevada and Arizona and spans for over 20,000 square miles. It is home to over 2 million residents. And last week, the Board of Supervisors voted to add a measure on the upcoming 2022 November ballot to secede from the state. The measure reads, do the citizens of San Bernardino County want the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors to study all options to obtain its fair share of state and federal resources up to and including secession? Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. stated that he is not in favor of seceding and is proud to be a Californian, but he agreed that it is important to listen to the residents and evaluate the best course of action to improve its service to them. Many Californians are having to deal with high taxes, high gas prices, widespread homelessness, and increased violent crime. Supervisor Janice Rutherford commented that she does not think the county would have the finances or political backing to secede from the state. However, she is in agreement with her constituents regarding their concerns and how their tax dollars are being used.
People pay high taxes, and they do not believe that those taxes are coming back to their neighborhoods to address the problems they're most concerned about. That's what we heard from our public last week. And there is nothing crazy at all about being angry about those things.
The board agreed that at the very least, the people's vote on the measure could be used as an advantage to get more political and financial support for the county. The 2022 statewide general elections will be held on November 8th.
We are going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we've got for you when we come back. California's Attorney General joined several other Democratic-led states in voicing opposition to a Florida gender education law. We'll hear why and what others are saying against it. As summer continues, a paramedic talked about heat emergencies. We'll hear who is most vulnerable and what are situations to watch out for to keep loved ones safe and healthy. And salt water is seeping into the Bay Area Delta. It's affecting local farmers, and officials are looking for solutions. We'll look at how the water is getting in. That and more on California Today. California Attorney General Rob Bonta has joined many Democratic attorney generals denouncing a Florida law.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta has joined a coalition of attorney generals from Democratic-led states denouncing Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay law. The law bans classroom instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity in kindergarten through third grade. Bonta criticized Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for the parental rights law in an August 4th statement. He said, "Make no mistake, DeSantis' Don't Say Gay law is an unlawful attempt to stigmatize, silence, and erase LGBTQ+ students from Florida's public schools." Carl DeMaio, chairman of a government watchdog group called Reform California and an openly gay Republican, told the Epic Times that the term "Don't Say Gay" is, quote, misleading. He said it's designed to serve a political agenda, not inform the public. For instance, the law itself doesn't say the word gay at all. DeMaio said Bonta's agenda is to distract California voters and deflect criticism from failing policies in their own state. Eric Early, a Republican and former candidate for California Attorney General, told the Epic Times that he fully supports Florida's parental rights bill. Early said the push by Democratic lawmakers to make California a so-called trans sanctuary state and implement policies that would allow minors to receive puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgeries is, quote, flat-out child abuse.
Authorities recovered 300 catalytic converters in the Bay Area after a year-long investigation. Southern California saw a similar bust after a vehicle chase.
In the Bay Area, the Fremont Police Department recovered at least 300 catalytic converters after investigating a company called Arrow Recovery. Undercover detectives sold cut catalytic converters to the business that were marked or etched, indicating they were stolen or illegally obtained. Arrow Recovery purchased from them repeatedly. Together with other authorities, they served a search warrant in June and found multiple 55-gallon drums of refined and semi-refined catalytic converter material, along with approximately 8 pallets containing at least 300 suspected stolen catalytic converters. The detectives will work with the Alameda County District Attorney's Office to prosecute Arrow Recovery along with penalties for environmental impacts. In Huntington Beach, 2 men were arrested on suspicion of stealing catalytic converters on Saturday. They led the Huntington Beach police on a vehicle chase that resulted in a fiery crash. An officer spotted and chased a speeding vehicle, which ran a red light and crashed into another vehicle. The two suspects inside were quickly taken into custody and rushed to a hospital with minor injuries. The driver of the other vehicle also suffered minor injuries. According to a police statement, a search of the suspect's vehicle revealed multiple freshly cut catalytic converters, a saw, and numerous used and new blades. An 18 and 22-year-old were medically cleared and booked into Huntington Beach City Jail on felony charges. The investigation is ongoing, and no additional details were released.
As summer scorches part of the country, some lives can be in danger from the high temperatures. NTD's Jackie Rios talked to a paramedic firefighter about the dangers of people and even pets stuck in hot environments.
Summer heat can be uncomfortable, unbearable, and even worse, it could be deadly when children are left unattended in vehicles as temperatures soar. We talked to the Monrovia Fire Department to learn all there is to know about heat emergencies. Jeremy Phibbs, a paramedic firefighter with the city of Monrovia in Los Angeles County, said as temperatures go up, so do the number of heat emergency calls. He says certain groups are more susceptible than others.
In regards to the elderly and pets, we do see a lot of that. Children and elderly are very susceptible to heat emergencies, more so than a younger, healthy individual. The elder people will see them in their homes without AC units, without all that. They can suffer very similar injuries to a car being left in a child being left in a hot car.
Phibbs said the heat inside a car can dramatically increase within a few minutes. The color of the car, tinted windows, and parking the car in direct sunlight all contribute to how much it can heat up.
With a car parked in the summer heat, the car can increase in temperature drastically over the ambient temperature outside. You can see temperature rises from 20 to 30 degrees over what the outside temperature is. That temperature increase can happen within 10 minutes.
Other factors can include the person or pet involved.
Both children and the elderly are two most vulnerable populations for heat emergencies. Other factors that also affect the elderly is medications that they take. Also can cause them to not regulate their temperature as well as a child will. Pets are in just as much danger as a child is. Pets are very important parts of people's family too, and they also have a hard time regulating their body temperature.
Phibbs said half of child deaths in hot cars are accidental, and there are ways to lower those statistics.
58% of these accidents are actually accidental. If that's the kid getting into the car by accident with the parent not knowing that, or if that's the parent accidentally leaving the car because of a change in routine or something like that. My suggestion is you can leave items in your car that you need, like a cell phone or a purse, so that it's a reminder to get the child out.
He recommended the website kidsandcars.org for information about keeping kids safe. But if a child is found inside a hot car, people have to get them out and contact 911 as quickly as possible.
One thing that's important for parents to learn, that if they do have a defenseless child that somehow gets trapped inside that car, is if you can teach them to honk the horn, to turn on the emergency flashers, or any other way that they can notify a passerby to come and help them. And the thing is, we don't know how long that child's been in that car. So it's important to get them out of the car and into a cool environment.
In the middle of summer in Southern California, we all need to pay extra attention to the most vulnerable members of our society. If you see someone who might need assistance, you're encouraged to make the 911 call immediately. And remember, every second counts. Jackie Rios, NTD News, Los Angeles.
In California's Bay Area, river water is getting saltier every year. What's impacting farmers and residents alike, area officials are looking for ways to resolve the problem. NTD's Daniel Hall reports.
Saltwater is seeping into California's freshwater. That's as less rain and snowfall for the state are causing fresh waterways to run low, allowing salty seawater to creep in from the Pacific. The impacts are particularly noticeable for California-based farmers who grow fruits and vegetables for the entire United States.
The water's been getting progressively worse and worse with salt. Every year it's becoming more of a challenge. This year in particular with our cucumbers, we're having 14%, 16% crooked cucumbers, and a lot of that's attributable to salt. Normally that's 5%. So our yields are off. Our yields are probably off 25%.
Costa's cucumber crops are used to make pickles that eventually get sold to national chain stores like Subway. As the salt damages his yearly crops, there are implications on consumers, but with the way things are now, Costa is already trying to survive as is.
We just try to hang on and hope the water quality gets better. But I mean, basically we're paying our bills with 75%, if we're lucky, of our income. But the bills don't change. The bills have only gone up.
Some methods are already underway to help out the growers. In the state's Delta region, where rivers meet the sea, the Department of Water Resources is building barriers to keep salty water away from pumps.
This particular rock barrier is very important because it's serving a purpose to help mitigate the negative effects of the current drought emergency we're in.
The department stacked 112,000 tons of rock 30 feet deep in the waterway.
And so really, without the release of more fresh water, then the interior delta can get salty. And so what this barrier behind me is doing is it's allowing us to keep control of this interior delta salinity for the protection of all the beneficial uses of these delta waters.
The city of Antioch, which sits along the delta rivers, is taking a stronger approach.
This is the first inland brackish water desalination plant in the state of California.
Antioch has supplied its residents with river water for 32 days for this year. That's just a quarter of the amount supplied for the same time last year, 128 days.
We're noticing increased salinity where our intake is located. So each year we seem to be able to use our intake less and less due to the salinity in the Bay Area. And so as a result, we're building this new plant so that when the salinity levels in the delta go up, we can continue to use our river intake to treat water for our residents.
While desalination has been controversial in California, the inland plant will take less energy due to lower salt levels. Samuelson said other Bay Area cities are asking about following their model. Daniel Hall, NTD News, California.
Irvine City is offering several $1 million in grants to different parts of the community. This is a part of the city redistributing federal COVID relief funds.
Irvine City is offering several $1 million in grants to different parts of the community. This is part of the city redistributing federal COVID relief funds. They will allocate $4.7 million in grants for local nonprofits supporting small businesses and disadvantaged communities. $2.2 million of the grant will assist small businesses. Another $2.2 million will help vulnerable populations, and the remaining $300,000 is for newly established nonprofits. The grants will be distributed incrementally over 2 years. Mayor Farah Khan said the pandemic relief funds come from the city's share of the Federal American Rescue Plan Act. Only nonprofits serving Irvine are eligible. The deadline for applications is August 24th.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you your California Today Sports Roundup.
I love the challenge and I love holding up trophies. And so I guess if ever I feel that I can't do that, then maybe I won't play anymore.
And just like that, Serena Williams came out on Tuesday to say that she is evolving away from tennis, as she detailed her upcoming retirement from the sport that she dominated for the majority of her career with 23 singles Grand Slam titles. On Monday, Williams played only her second singles match since she returned to action at Wimbledon in June after a year-long absence from competition, beating Spain's Nuria Diaz to reach the second round of the Toronto Open. But the 40-year-old said after the match that she could see the light at the end of the tennis tunnel in her career before suggesting the U.S. Open starting this month could be her swan song. Williams won her last Grand Slam in 2017 and has been chasing an elusive 24th crown that will draw her level with Margaret Court, who holds the record for the most majors. Williams came tantalizingly close to achieving that feat, featuring in 4 majors finals since giving birth to her daughter Olympia in 2017. Comparing players from different generations is somewhat of a lost cause, given the countless ways to appraise achievements and analyze data. But Williams is considered by many fans and pundits to be the GOAT, a label that refers to the greatest of all time. Williams revolutionized women's tennis with a lethal mix of powerful serves, ground strokes, and superb athleticism, and became the most successful player in the Open era with her collection of 23 Grand Slam titles. That success also inspired a generation of tennis players, including Naomi Osaka, who beat Williams in the 2018 U.S. Open final to claim the first of her 4 majors and remembers watching her childhood idol. Starting her career in competitive tennis at the age of 14, Williams has had quite the career. From the early days of practicing with Sister Venus and her dad Richard in courts around Compton, California, to playing the finely trimmed grass of Wimbledon, Williams has surely seen everything tennis has to offer to one person. Once she decides to fully retire, she will do so with few regrets and a heart full of memories for the wide world of tennis. Left-hander Alex Wood and 3 relievers combined to shut out the Padres as visiting San Francisco earned a shutout win in San Diego in the opener of a 3-game series. Wood gave up 3 hits and no walks with 5 strikeouts over 6 1/3 innings. Blake Snell gave up the game's only run on 6 hits. The Padres have been shut out in back-to-back games and are 1-5 since trading for Juan Soto and Josh Bell. Giants 1, Padres 0. Luis Rengifo hit the 8th pitch of the game for a home run, and Jose Suarez won a pitcher's duel over fellow left-hander Cole Irvine as the visiting Los Angeles Angels beat the Oakland A's 1-0 in the opener of a 3-game series Monday night. The Angels recorded the win, their 3rd in the past 5 games, despite sitting out star Shohei Ohtani, who got spiked atop the left foot in a freak accident during their Sunday loss in Seattle. Suarez worked 7 innings, allowing 2 hits and 2 walks while striking out 8. Angels 1, A's 0.
That's all for California sports. Back to you.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.